Today, chapter 2, from trade to territory. This is the name of the chapter. In this chapter, we are going to establish nearly the arrival of the Britishers to them becoming the masters of the land. It took nearly more than 100 years for them to become the masters of the country. Initially, the Britishers came to India to do trade. They were completely reluctant to occupy any lands. To establish their own factories also, they used to take permissions and they used to depend on the Mughal emperors, they used to depend on the local kings for their support. Then how did these people who were reluctant to occupy the lands, who were reluctant to take over the kingdoms, targeted the kings, established the control over the kingdoms, and finally became the whole and sole ruler of the country? So that we are going to analyze in this lesson, from trade to territory. Let us see here. First, Aurangzeb, the last most powerful ruler of Mughals. He died in 1707. Till he was alive, the Britishers were not at all involved in any of the commercial activity other than establishing their trade centers. After the death of Aurangzeb in 1707, there was no powerful ruler who succeeded Aurangzeb. It doesn't mean that there were no Mughal rulers after him. We have Mughal rulers in place till 1857. Once the 1857 revolt has broken out, in order to suppress that one, they considered Mughal emperor as a natural leader of the rebellion. So, here we would like to know from 1707 to 1857, what are the conditions that made the traders to capture the territory. In this lesson, we will be explicitly dealing about this meticulously here. Now, the last Mughal emperor who was very powerful was Aurangzeb. Aurangzeb passed away in 1707, and in the second half of the 18th century, we have the growing of the Britishers' power. Day by day, they grew larger and larger. Now, the East India Company, this was the arrival of the Britishers to our land. Initially, the Britishers did not come to our land directly. We got the company which got the permission from the Queen Elizabeth through a charter in 1600 year. According to that charter, no other company from the England or Britain can come and do trade in the East. This charter is applicable only to the companies which are in England. So, as per the charter rights given to the East India Company by Queen Elizabeth I in 1600 year, they moved to establish their trading with the East. So, they want new lands. From that new lands, they want the goods which are available at very less cost or very cheap price for them. So, when they want it at very less cost, they want to do mercantile business. What is this mercantile business? It is a business which is run primarily by buying and selling the products. They buy the commodities at very less cost somewhere where it is available freely, and from there they transport it to the other regions where it's very costly and double the cost or triple the cost and sell it there. So this process happens. So they buy the products at very less cost and sell it at the place where it is very costly there. Because of this, they need lands where the products are available at very less cost. For the Western countries, especially from Europe, they know in the eastern part of Asia and African countries, the products are very less. The cost of the product is very less. They are not as civilized as that of the European countries. So they don't know what is the actual cost of the product. So from there, if we can get at very less cost, that we can sell in the home country or in the other countries and earn huge profits. This business is called as mercantile business. Now, as we discussed, East India Company acquired the rights from Queen Elizabeth I in 1600 year to do trade with the eastern countries. It's not mentioned that they will do trade with India. There is no clear specification that they are going to do trade with India. They got permission to do trade with the East. From England, the East is the entire Eastern European countries will come, East Asian countries will come. So they are moving towards this one. So from this it has to be very clear for us. The Royal Charter did not stop the other countries from doing trade with the East. What is the logic here? The Royal Charter is applicable only in the region where the Royal Queen's power is existing. In India, if any law is passed, the law will be existing only in our country. It will not be existing in Pakistan. It will not be existing in Bangladesh. Similarly, when Queen has passed a charter, a circular stating that English East India Company can do trade with the eastern countries, it is clearly specifying that other companies in England will not do trade which will be competition to the East India Company. The Royal Charter could not stop the other countries from entering into the eastern trade. As the Britishers are thinking that we can do mercantile business is not restricted only to England or only to the Great Britain. There are countries like France, there are countries like Spain, Portugal, all these countries also want to do trading, that also mercantile business only. They also want some new lands where they could get the commodities at very less cost. So all are going in the same line. All want to do the same business. Definitely there will be a tough competition. When many people want the same product, the demand of the product will be increasing. So in order to be stable in the competition or to eliminate the competition, you have to do wars, you have to attack each other, you have to be strong and you have to defeat the others. The same thing happened here also. That is, the Royal Charter allowed the East India Company to come to East and could not stop the other countries coming here. Before the English East India Company has landed over to the eastern country like India, we already have some of the people who came to our country. Those people are Portuguese people. Portuguese people came and settled in the west coast of our country. They came way back early, more than 100 years before the English East India Company. They came in 1498 itself. Vasco da Gama, we have to remember his name in the history, who discovered the first sea route to our country. When the Byzantine Empire was taken over by the Ottoman Empire, the land route between Europe and Asia has been blocked near Turkey. So now there is no land connectivity between Europe and Asia. As there is no land connectivity, they already had trade relations between the east and the west through the land route. But with the rising up of the Ottoman Empire in 1453, it has become very difficult to do trade. So we need to find out some other alternative route. So they started to find out the sea route. A special team of explorers are being sent to find the alternative route to eastern countries. So Vasco da Gama came across the Atlantic Ocean, crossing the entire African continent, reached to the Cape of Good Hope. After he reached that spot, and from there he came to India. He only named it as Cape of Good Hope, because after he reached there, he got confidence that he will be able to attain success for what mission he has come. So from there he moved to India, came to the Indian Ocean, Arabian Sea, and later into the Calicut region of Kerala. There he took the permission from Zomarin, the existing king of Calicut at that time.